So as it turns out, creating a snap lens is a bit more challenging than I thought. I started out by wanting to recreate something similar to the Wisp lens and not exactly create that same exact app, but I wanted to leverage the functionality that you have in speaking with the little cute character in my own game that I'll be working on for the next couple of months or so. With that said, this is the very first video in a very long series of vlogs dedicated to the snap lens that I am creating. To catch you up on what's going on, Wisp is a lens. I cannot say wisp. Let's try it again. To catch you up on what's going on, Wisp is a lens for the snap spectacles in which there's this little character that is context aware and understands what's happening in your environment. And you have to help it find a place to, I think, like live or something like that. And then apparently it has some friends as well that you have to help. What's cool is that as you're looking around in your environment, the little character is able to comment on things that are happening. And so if you're not familiar with doing anything related to AI, you might be wondering, well, how the heck does this work? So I'll give you a very high level potential path that you could take to make something like this work. So essentially, it's going to be a lot of involvement of utilizing AI. So here's Mixamo. It's where I come to find my 3D models of characters whenever I'm doing any sort of prototyping. I like to use this Michelle one as my character. I just think she looks pretty cool. You can also find animations in here, and I've given her a set of idle animations versus talking animations. So this is one of her idle animations. The idle animations I have play whenever she's not at quote unquote speaking to me, and she cycles through a series of different ones. So likewise for her talking animations, this is what one of them looks like. I also have her cycle through different talking animations. These are going to play or more to be selected at random. And among those talking animations, there's also this waving one. I have logic set up, whereas if the audio clip that's being played back is a greeting of some sort, then she's going to do the waving animation. So next up, we have ElevenLabs. This is where I like to come and get my AI voices. The one that I prefer to use is Nia Davis. It's the closest I can get to something that sounds like a Black woman. And this is what it sounds like.
Hey, what's up? Nia Davis is ready for action. She'll be a perfect fit for your story. So go ahead and add me, because we finna be big mixing.
Whatever big mixing means, couldn't tell you, but there are other options available as well in here that sounds remotely close to a Black woman. So you have some options. I think as time goes on, I probably will switch to more like Dakota. I think she sounds a bit more fun. But yeah, this is where I come and get these voices. The other thing I will call out is that you will need to get the voice ID. You're going to need that for when you're working on the code portion. And so you can just copy the voice ID there, and then it'll be on your clipboard. And just save that somewhere. So now heading over into VS Code, the very first thing that we want to make sure is working properly is inferencing, because it's practically the basis of everything that we're going to do in this project. I'm using OpenAI, and so with that said, I'm going to use the chat completions. I'm using the model GPT 4.1. And then I define the system prompt for the assistant itself. I said it's cool, trendy, it uses slang like what's up whenever it's doing any greeting to the user who is named April. Otherwise, just provide a regular response without a greeting. And then the prompt that I'm passing in from the user is just a simple hey. From there, I'm going to print out just the content of the output from the model itself, just to validate that that works properly. In the ideal way to set this up, I want to do a transcription. Because I'm still in the beginning stages of this and I was just prototyping things, I didn't take the luxury of actually implementing any sort of transcription, but there are ways to do that. I do believe OpenAI does provide an API that does that. But for now, I'm hard coding whatever the prompt is. And that just gives less things for me to have to debug and figure out what's wrong if something's not working. Because if you can hard code the input, you can keep on going with prototyping. But if you spend so much time now trying to get the utterance from a microphone and things aren't working, now you're going to be stuck at that step. So for now, let's focus on just hard coding the inferencing part. And then that enables us to move on to the next part of the project. So now that we've confirmed that everything works, we can now add in our ElevenLabs pieces to this. So we're going to be using this convert function from the ElevenLabs text-to-speech API. We're going to pass in the text itself, which is going to be the reply from the prompt that we have stored in this reply variable. That voice ID that we copied earlier is going to be passed into this voice ID parameter. And then also for the model ID, we define that to whichever model you prefer to use from ElevenLabs. And then you're also going to want to define what the output format's going to be. And mine happens to be MP3. In terms of what the actual function does, it actually converts text into speech using the text-to-speech API, and it streams audio as chunks of bytes. So we're combining those chunks using that join function to create one complete MP3 audio file that's going to be stored in memory. And then we return it as a fast API response. And so that sets the content to our audio bytes. It'll label it as audio/MPEG, and then it adds the model replies in the headers for reference. And so what you should hear should be the response from whatever the LLM generated. So up to this point, everything I've shared so far with code is for the backend, pivoting away from the backend, which was all in Python, and now to the front end, which is in TypeScript. I need to add in the logic for the animations themselves. So here I've defined this trigger response animation function, and this is what's going to help determine whether the wave animation is executed or the idle animation. And so I defined the greeting patterns, and right now it's all string-based. Long term, I think I'm going to incorporate the assistance of a large language model here. I'm going to use AI to surmise whether the output from the model is a greeting itself. And so if it does indicate that the output is an actual greeting, then what we're going to do is do the waving animation. Otherwise, it's going to do the idle animation. Okay, so right now she's doing her idle animation. I think this one is the happy one. So when I press this chat button, it'll submit a prompt that says, "Hey girl." And so we'll see how she responds to that.
Hey there, April. What's up?
All right, and then from there, as we can see, she returns to one of her idle animations. This one is nails. Down here in the inspector or in the console log, we can see what's actually coming back. So that's super helpful. So now we're getting into how I set up the logic for the animations. I gave her 4 different animations, and the idea is that she will cycle through different ones, but they're going to be chosen at random because you don't know quite how long she's going to be doing an idle pose. It could be a very long utterance coming from the user. And so rather than her do that same one idle animation over and over and over again, I wanted it to pick another one at random. So to start, I defined this variable for idle animations, which has this list of idle, nails, bored, and happy. Those are the actual idle animations themselves. Actually, I forgot we're using TypeScript, so this is actually an array, not a list, but anyways, semantics. So here's a general gist of what's happening below. We start off with this start idle loop function, and it sets a flag to indicate that we're in the idle loop itself. It'll pick a random idle animation, and then it'll play that animation using set action. It'll then attach the event listener to the animation mixer, and so that way when the current animation finishes, then the onIdleFinish function is triggered. So the inIdleFinish function, it checks if the idle loop is still active, and if it is, then it'll select a new idle animation and it'll play it again, and then that helps create a continuous loop of idle motions until I tell it to stop. So here's one of her idle animations. It's almost like she stands still, but every so often she will switch from one side to the other. And then another one that we have is this one that is considered quote unquote bored. And I just like the way she moves. It's very childish because she kind of just like hangs there for a second. And then there's also this one. This one's called Happy, where she's just moving back and forth. There's also one that's called Nails, which you would have just saw from the other demo. But those are all the idle animations that she cycles through. And then I did a similar setup for the talking animations. They're also in an array, talking 1, talking 2, talking 3. I know quite innovative in terms of how I name them, but I at least know what they are. And so again, we're going to be getting a random animation to play. The only difference here compared to the idle animations is that for the talking animations, I set it so that way she only does one talking animation for the duration of the audio clip that plays from ElevenLabs. I did give this a try where she cycled through different talking animations, but the transition was not smooth at all. I even tried adding in a fade between the transitions, and it just didn't look good at all, y'all. So what I did instead was that I made it so that way the animation will continue to loop in infinity until the audio clip is done being played. Oh, and like I mentioned earlier, if a greeting is not detected, then she's not going to do the wave animation. She's going to do one of the randomly selected talking animations. I shortened that block of code here on the screen for the greeting logic, but down below that is where I have the logic for, or the conditional statement for whether a greeting is detected. And then if not, now we're selecting one of the random talking animations. So this go around, I passed in a prompt that says, is Los Angeles in California? And this is just to show you that she knows when to do the wave animation as opposed to the talking animation.
Yes, Los Angeles is in California.
And then from there, she goes back to one of her idle animations. And so down here within the console, I hope you can see this because it's covered on my screen. But in any case, we can see that the OpenAI reply is, yes, Los Angeles in California. And then the greeting was not detected. So that's why her talking animation plays instead. So I went on ahead and added the model to the Snap Spectacles. Turns out it requires a different file format compared to the one that I was using over within the browser, but that's okay. She looks pretty good at this scale, so I think I'm now ready to move forward with adding the functionality that I did in the browser, but on the spectacles. All right, I'll be back next week with another build. Until next time, take care.